She's talking, you're nodding, but are you really listening, or just patiently waiting for a gap to insert your pre-rehearsed witty comment? Imagine, for a moment, possessing a conversational superpower so potent it makes women feel deeply seen, incredibly understood, and magnetically drawn to you, without you having to be a stand-up comedian or a Fortune 500 CEO. This isn't about deploying an arsenal of slick lines. It's about unlocking the genuine, almost magical, art of truly hearing someone. The secret to captivating her, to making her feel that electrifying spark of connection, might just be hidden in how profoundly you listen, starting now. Why does a phrase like, "he listens," carry such extraordinary weight, echoing in a woman's mind long after a conversation ends? Because in a world saturated with noise, distractions, and people clamoring to be heard, someone who truly listens is a rare and incredibly attractive anomaly. It's a neon sign flashing, "I respect you, I value what you say, and I'm genuinely interested in who you are." This isn't just about being polite, it's a powerful demonstration of emotional intelligence. When you actively listen, you're not just absorbing words, you're conveying empathy, building trust, and making her feel validated. These are fundamental human desires, and fulfilling them creates a bond that superficial charm can only dream of. It communicates that you see her as an individual, not just an audience. This skill, or lack thereof, can instantly sort you into the forgettable pile or the "I need to see him again" category. The harsh truth? Most people, especially in dating scenarios, are terrible listeners. It's a silent epidemic of conversational narcissism. Think about it. How often have you been in a conversation where the other person is clearly just waiting for you to finish so they can launch into their own story? Or they interrupt, not to clarify, but to redirect the spotlight. Common listening crimes include the premature problem solver, jumping in with unsolicited advice before she's even finished explaining, the story topper, who always has a bigger, better, or crazier anecdote, the interrogator, who fires off questions without actually processing the answers, or the ever-present phone checker, whose divided attention screams disinterest louder than any words. This waiting to talk syndrome is the default setting for many, and it's a guaranteed attraction killer. So, how do you upgrade your internal software from passive receiver to active listening ninja? It's about deploying a toolkit of genuine engagement. First, master full body presence. Listening isn't just an auditory function. It's a full contact sport for the senses and the psyche. This means orienting your body towards her. Maintain engaged eye contact, not a creepy, unblinking stare, but a warm, attentive gaze that says, "I'm with you." Put the phone away. Seriously. Out of sight, out of mind. Even face down on the table, it's a lurking distraction, a silent competitor for your attention. Nodding occasionally, subtle facial expressions that mirror the emotion of her story. These nonverbal cues are critical. They broadcast loud and clear, "I am present, and you have my undivided attention." Next, embrace the art of silence and encouragers. Not every micro pause in conversation needs to be filled by your voice. Sometimes, silence gives her space to gather her thoughts or delve deeper. Resist the urge to jump in. Instead, use minimal verbal encouragers. Simple utterances like, go on, wow, really, or tell me more, act as powerful green lights, signaling that you're following along and are invested in what she's saying. They're like conversational breadcrumbs, leading her further into her story. Level up with reflective listening, the art of paraphrasing and summarizing. This is where you demonstrate you're not just hearing sounds, but actively processing meaning. Periodically, in your own words, briefly reflect back the essence of what she just said. So, if I'm getting this right, you felt incredibly frustrated because your boss dismissed your idea, even after all the work you put in? Or, it sounds like you're really excited about this trip, especially the hiking part. This does two crucial things. It confirms your understanding, and gives her a chance to clarify if you're off base, and it makes her feel profoundly validated. She knows you're getting it. Then comes empathetic validation. This is about connecting with the emotion behind her words. You don't necessarily have to agree with the facts of her story or have experienced the exact same thing to validate her feelings. Phrases like, "Wow, that sounds like it was a really tough situation," or, "I can totally see why you'd be thrilled about that," or, "It makes sense that you'd feel overlooked in that moment." This isn't about offering solutions, unless she explicitly asks. It's about acknowledging her emotional experience as real and legitimate. This builds immense rapport. Unlock the power of asking thoughtful, open-ended questions. Forget generic, dead-end questions that elicit one-word answers. Dive deeper. Instead of, "Did you have a good day?" try, "What was the most interesting part of your day?" If she mentions a challenge, ask, "What's your biggest takeaway from dealing with that?" If she shares a passion, inquire, "What first got you excited about that?" Crucially, ask questions that show you've been paying attention to what she's already said. You mentioned earlier that you were nervous about that presentation. How did it end up going? These types of questions invite more elaborate responses, reveal her personality, and signal genuine curiosity. And the secret weapon? The memory vault. Make a mental, or even a discrete physical note later, of small details she shares: her dog's name, her favorite obscure band, a project she's passionate about, her coffee order, an upcoming event she mentioned. Then, in a later conversation, casually referencing one of these details: "How's Sparky doing?" or, "Did you end up trying that new cafe we talked about?" is an absolute showstopper. It subtly communicates, "You are important enough for me to remember the little things." It's incredibly endearing because it's so rare. Of course, attraction isn't solely built on listening. Communication is a two-way street. So, when it's your turn, express yourself clearly and respectfully. Be articulate, but don't hog the spotlight. Use I statements to share your own experiences and feelings, especially if they relate to what she's shared. "I had a similar experience when," or, "I feel really energized when I'm working on projects like that too." If you disagree with something, do it respectfully. That's an interesting perspective. I see it a bit differently because. Acknowledge her viewpoint's validity even if you don't share it. Avoid condescension, interrupting, or turning it into a debate to be won. This brings us to the "Be Genuine" secret, threaded through the title. None of these techniques will work if they're deployed as manipulative tricks. Authenticity is paramount. If your active listening is just a performance, a means to an end, she'll sense it. The true power comes when these skills are a natural extension of genuine curiosity, respect, and a sincere desire to connect with another human being. When you genuinely want to understand who she is, what she thinks, and how she feels, these methods become effortless and incredibly effective. Ultimately, the grand prize of mastering these skills is making her feel truly heard and profoundly understood. In a world where people often feel invisible or like they're shouting into the void, offering someone the gift of your complete, empathetic attention creates an oasis of connection. It fosters a sense of emotional safety and trust that is deeply attractive. It's not about having the loudest voice in the room, but the most receptive heart and mind. This is how you move beyond superficial pleasantries and forge a bond that resonates, making you utterly unforgettable.